This is the BH Spring Solutions Advanced Girsan MCP35 pistol. Let's go ahead and take a look. Here's our rear security. Hey everybody, this is Jerry Nines. You know, some days it's a good day to be a YouTube firearms guy, especially when somebody like BH Spring Solutions calls you up out of nowhere and says, hey, can we send you our, sort of category defining product or one of them, and, go ahead and take it, shoot it, do what you want to it, talk to your audience about it. And so, recently I had one of those days. Those folks contacted me and they said, we want to send you our BH Spring Solution Advanced Girsan MCP35 pistol. They did, and let's go ahead and get it out to the range and just kind of see what it's all about. This actually started life off as a Girsan MC35, made in Turkey, imported by EAA here in the States. And what they've done with this particular gun is, with the exception of the slide, the frame, and one or two internal parts, they've gone through everything and they have really tricked it out and customized it. So we're going to be taking a close look at this admittedly striking pistol. We'll go ahead and we'll break it down first, look at it sort of stem to stern, and then we're going to be taking it to the range and ringing it out. As promised, let's take a closer look at the BH Spring Solutions Girsan MCP35 pistol. I think I finally said that right. The moment you see it, you're like, this is a striking pistol. Adding to that are these BH Spring Solution heirloom grips. They're great. They provide a really nice purchase for the thumb on one side while not getting in the way of the fingers on the other side. I think that is a huge benefit. You're seeing this part of the video before the shooting, but I actually did the shooting yesterday, and so I can say that super comfortable, super controllable, and all the controls and all of the upgrades have really made this a very pleasant and pleasurable gun to shoot. From front to back, we have our Meprolite 3-dot sight system, which makes it really, really nice if you have other firearms or other handguns with a 3-dot sight system for that nice continuity. I think I discussed that in the video as well. A really nice pistol, entirely comfortable, cool gun to shoot. My son Gavin, you're going to see him shooting here in a few minutes. And there's one funny part where I asked him to talk a little bit about the gun, and he's 19, he's like, oh, I like it. But afterwards we talked about it, and he went on and on about this gun and how much he liked it. When I said, what'd you like about it? One of the things he said, one of the adjectives he used, it was clicky. And I was like, what do you mean by clicky? And he said, well, it just seems like it operates really well, it's well put together, and it's precision, I guess, is probably the word that I would use in place of his clicky. A couple of things going on with this that I want to talk about. Number one is, you might notice that they have this ambidextrous magazine release, and because of the vagaries of the Browning Hi-Power, it's not something that you can just put like a reversible button in there. They had to figure out a way to actually activate it, mimicking the true direction of the magazine release. So this actually operates as a little lever, and if I just go ahead and push that down, well, it's not really letting me, but let me just go ahead and say it is a push down, and it ejects that magazine out. I do recall from their website that there is an upgrade, an internal upgrade that they offer that really kicks those magazines out smartly, and this certainly does that. So that's kind of neat. I did notice that even though I'm left-handed and was really excited to see an ambidextrous magazine release on the weapon, it doesn't really work for me. I have a Tuck-It Kydex inside the waistband holster, and with that tight-fitting holster, it actually activated this, and so it's not of use to me. But again, if you want something that for left-handers you can just easily activate with that thumb, it's also a lot easier than a lot of ambidextrous safeties or magazine releases that are out there. The other thing is the SFS system, the Safety Fast Shooting System, I think it's called. Basically, the way this works is that when the gun is ready to go, and as always, we clear all firearms before they enter the studio. But with the gun ready to go, to put it on safe, I don't activate the safety. In fact, you'll notice I cannot. Instead, I push the hammer forward. What that does, if you notice this, when you take it off, say put it on fire, that hammer comes back. But also notice what it does to the safety. When I push this forward, the safety clicks up, ties up the gun, can't manipulate the slide, and can't do anything until that safety, and I'm doing this from my off-camera thumb, but that safety is put in the fire position, and that springs back. Now, this is something that was designed by Browning back in the day. For many years, it was an option when you bought a Browning Hi-Power, or you could buy a model number that had that in it. So this is not a BH Spring Solutions innovation, but it is something that they offer. And you know what? For those people that want that on their otherwise, it wasn't not factory equipped Browning Hi-Power with the SFS, I can't think of anyone better to do that for your pistol. I have other thoughts about the SFS. I'm actually going to make a separate video just about that because I don't want to cloud what's going on with this gun, but I am going to delve into that a little bit more. So, as you're going to see in the shooting coming up, there really wasn't much difference in terms of practical accuracy between this and my relatively stock Springfield SA-35. The reason I mention that, or the reason I say relatively stock, is because when it had to go back to the factory for the second time to fix it, they did make note that they polished the trigger bar. In terms of sort of raw accuracy, they were a lot closer than I thought they would be. That is not a ding on the Girsan. The Girsan was great. I just didn't expect the Springfield to be as accurate as it was. Maybe that's just my gun. In terms of all the other things that are going on, I just have to say that this particular firearm, done as it has been done by BH Spring Solutions, I think that if you send an out-of-the-box Girsan to them, and I think the Springfields are pretty close in terms of cost, they can do all this, everything, including the coating and the gold and the SFS and everything for about $1,700, which that is pretty much what you'd expect to spend for a full house custom gun. This gun did not bobble once. You're going to see some shooting. I did some more shooting off camera. It started raining on me, and so while I am waterproof, my camera isn't, but I did dump a bunch more rounds, and this gun just ate everything. Hollow point, ball, Winchester white box. I was really impressed with it, and it was a pleasure to shoot. Also, because of the geometry of this SFS hammer, I didn't get any of that hammer bite that I experienced with the SA-35. So, like I said, very, very comfortable, easy gun to shoot, really clicky, if I can quote my son. So let's go ahead and get out. We're going to go ahead and get shooting. I'm going to give the first shots that I've taken out of this gun, or in my presence, to my son Gavin. So Gavin, come on up here. And what we're going to do is we have some targets down about 20, 21 feet away. Winchester white box. This is just kind of getting to know the gun. Just an idea. Here he is, and here are his targets. So whenever you're ready. What do you think?
I like it.
As you can tell, he was really excited, had a lot to offer in terms of his feedback on the gun. But now I'm going to go ahead and take some rounds. We have a shoot and see target down there. I'll be aiming at the center. And first 5 rounds are going to be PMC bronze, 115 grain jacketed hollow point. Then after that, it's going to be the Winchester M1152. Let's just walk it up and see how he did. So I'm just going to tell you that I made some marksmanship errors on this firing string. I was looking at where I was hitting, haven't fired the gun before, so I was naturally curious. That I think accounts. This was almost a called flyer. I knew that one was my fault. But if we look, 2 high quality ammos, and both of them from easily 21 to 25 feet, laying them in there pretty nicely. So I'm fairly impressed with my first 10 rounds out of the gun. In terms of the handling characteristics of the gun, it's really comfortable in the hand. It is more comfortable to shoot than my Springfield SA-35. I'm not getting any contact, any hammer bite. So far, nothing but good things to say. Good experience, but we just have 10 rounds. So we're going to go ahead and move forward with a little bit of comparison between this and the SA-35 from a handling perspective and also from an accuracy perspective. So let's go ahead and keep going. But again, so far, this is really nice. So one of the important parts of judging the handling characteristics of any pistol is not just standing still and not just necessarily engaging one target. So Gavin's going to do a 6-round drill and gun. Hey, let's see if this has a magazine safety. I'm not sure if it does. Weapon on safe. No magazine safety. We're going to do a little bit of a comparison now. We're going to do 5 rounds of Winchester White Box through the Girsan. After Gavin shoots his 5 rounds, we're going to switch shooters. I'm going to shoot my 5 rounds. We're then going to switch over to the Winchester M1152. And he's going to shoot his 5 rounds, and I'm going to shoot my 5 rounds. Direct comparison, just to give you an idea where we're shooting at. We're a little bit closer, probably about 15 feet or so, and we're going to be shooting at the corners of that shoot and see target when you're ready. So these are my 5 rounds BH Spring Solution Advanced Winchester White Box. All right, now we're going to switch over to the M1152. Gavin with the Girsan Advanced on the shoot and see target with the Winchester M1152, bottom left. Let's walk it downrange. So now I've been shooting a lot more frequently than Gavin has. He just finished a semester at school. But you know, it does seem like Gavin with the BH Spring Solutions and the M1152 ammo did pretty good here. His first rounds with the Winchester White Box were a little wider and kind of lower right. This is my Winchester White Box. There are 5 rounds in there, I promise you. And then there are my 5 rounds with the M1152. So, yeah, I think the accuracy on this gun is stellar. And I think it looks like the gun maybe favors that slightly higher quality M1152 a little bit more, which is understandable. So we're going to reset, and we're going to bring up the Springfield SA-35 and run the same drill. What Gavin's going to do is he's going to load and fire 5 rounds of the Winchester White Box. We have a fresh target up there. And I think, to be fair, Gavin has only fired the Springfield SA-35 probably about 10 rounds more than now he's fired the BH Spring Solution. So this is still a relatively new gun for him. I think sometimes that's when you get the best feedback. All right, go ahead and put her on safe. So what do you think about the differences in, I guess, the trigger and the overall handling between the two?
I think the first gun handles better.
In what way? Is it more comfortable? Does it feel better?
More comfortable. Less bite.
Less bite. Okay, that's important. Good. All right, we're going to switch shooters, and I'm going to go ahead and take the SA-35. Jerry Nines, 5 rounds, SA-35 Winchester White Box. You know, let me just say really quickly, one of the big differences is the sights. BH Advanced Girsan has sights that I'm more used to, which is the a more traditional 3-dot sight setup, whereas the Springfield SA-35, it has more of a dovetail or a U-notch with a white dot up front. I like this sight a lot, but I certainly am more used to, and there is more cross-platform compatibility with the 3-dot sights for me. So I think that's one of the big differences in terms of what I'm experiencing just as I sight the gun in. Let's see what it looks like when we actually get some rounds down range. All right, Gavin's going to get the SA-35 in operation with 5 rounds of the M1152. Five rounds, M1152, Jerry 9s on the bottom right with the Springfield SA-35. Okay, so we did have the target shift there. But you know what, I kept rolling with it because I think we can still get a pretty good idea what we're talking about. Let's go down range and look at it. You know what's interesting, here I am getting that bite again from that SA-35 that we talked about in other videos. So, you know, when I shoot the Girsan seems to fit more comfortably in the hand. It also has a trigger that is, I want to say, softer. I know the trigger itself is wider, and the trigger feels softer, and there's not as much apparent effort to get a shot off. But I will say that while I can tell I'm working with a customized and optimized trigger with the Girsan, with the Springfield, I feel that it suits me really well because I have a definite sort of ledge there that I go off of. So, and you know, I mean, I think both of them have given us really good accuracy. Certainly we see Gavin with the Springfield, you know, probably about the same size group, maybe, you know, right around there. But he was certainly more centered with the Springfield SA-35. And then with the Winchester White Box, Winchester M1152, it seems like he had a much nicer group and just a little bit low. 4-in-1 here, 4-in-1 hole with the Springfield SA-35 with the Winchester White Box. Down here, I kind of wish the target had shifted on me because I did kind of lay two, almost one on top of each other. And if things hadn't shifted, I would like to see how that went. But having said that, I was still using the same point of aim. It just kind of shifted a little bit. So I'm going to say that for me, it seems like this gun with this ammo, this is probably, you know, again, if I don't make allowances or excuses, this is my least favorite group with that. So, you know, what does this mean? It, you know, and we're going to do a bit more of a recap when we kind of get back to the studio. But, you know, for me, it shows that from a practical accuracy perspective, I think that both guns have shown in this very limited testing that they're doing really well. I don't have the history of malfunctions with the Girsan as I do with the Springfield, but I do have more rounds through the Springfield. Overall, I think the Girsan is an absolute pleasure to shoot. It feels better in the hand, maybe because of those heirloom grips that they put on there. I think the trigger itself is just more of a pleasure to work with. But again, I think that for me, the Springfield, and to be fair, they did polish the trigger bar at the factory. But to be fair, I think that for me and my shooting style, the Springfield gave me a little bit more of a ledge, and therefore I was able to control my shots a little bit better. Let's go ahead and continue to put some rounds down range. All right, so let's run the Girsan through some more paces, multiple distances, multiple targets, and just kind of just kind of see what happens. I don't have a magazine pouch on me, so we're going to do a reload in the middle of this, but it won't be the most tactical of reloads. You know, one of the things about this gun that I really like, and I wish I'd just used it, but I used it off camera, is that extended slide release. BH Spring Solutions Advanced Girsan MC35. Unlike the Springfield SA-35, because of its geometry and because of some of the things going on with it, I could shoot it all day. It's not beat me up, it's not well turned me. We're gonna get back to the studio, it's raining out. So what are my final thoughts on the BH Spring Solutions Advanced Girsan MCP35? Well, first of all, the folks at BH Spring Solutions, they know how to make a Browning that runs. Everything that I threw at this, mixed lots of ammo, hollow point, Winchester white box, it just gobbled everything up. You may have seen from the shooting on the range that we're using different types of ammunition. It started raining on us. I am waterproof, but my camera isn't, so we turned the camera off and put a bunch more rounds through this. Again, one hand, weak hand, offhand, and it just kept going. So they can certainly make a gun that runs. And you know, it really isn't surprising. I did a little bit of independent research on the folks at BH Spring Solutions, and some of the folks that they are affiliated with, like the people at RDIH that made many of the parts that are on this gun. And these are people that are truly part of the Browning Hi-Power history. So do a little bit of research, and I think that you'll find that you probably couldn't put your Browning Hi-Power or Browning Hi-Power pattern pistol in any better hands. There are other great gunsmiths out there that are doing great things with these guns. Certainly Cylinder and Slide has a lot of history with Browning Hi-Power. Mark III firearms out of Las Vegas, they're doing some amazing things. But again, if you want to work with people who are entwined in the DNA of the Browning Hi-Power pattern pistol, again, you might want to go ahead and give the folks at BH Spring Solutions a call. Now, one of the things that I know is going to come up is that when we did sort of an accuracy head-to-head with my all but stock Springfield SA-35, you'll notice that they were very, very close. In fact, in some of the strings that we saw, the SA-35 seemed to even edge out the Girsan Advanced from BH Spring Solutions. Look, if raw accuracy is everything that you're looking for, then there are a number of ways to achieve that. But one of the things that you're not going to get, at least in my experience, from any out-of-the-box solutions is the pride of ownership you're going to feel in getting your Browning Hi-Power pattern pistol into the hands of experts like the folks at BH Spring Solutions, and having them make it your own, being able to personalize it, being able to make those aesthetic choices. So, you know, with that, I mean, your mileage may vary, and I can't tell you whether or not you're going to feel that what they can do for you is going to be worth it. But I do know they have a pretty long waiting list. I know that they've done guns. Sometimes they've done, I think, 15, 16, 17 different guns for the same client over time. So they obviously know what they're doing. They obviously are well-versed in the Browning Hi-Power. And you know what? They're great people, and I think they'd be great people to do business with if you chose to go the customization route with your Browning Hi-Power. Now, I want to make something very clear. I don't have a business relationship with BH Spring Solutions. I am not a customer of theirs. No money has traded hands or changed hands in any way. I'm just somebody that they contacted and said, hey, would you like to take a look at this and ring it out? So I'm just trying to give it to you straight. I personally got a lot of joy and really appreciated my time with this firearm. Is everything that's going on here 100% for me? No, it isn't. But again, they didn't make this gun for me. They made this gun to really show off what is possible and sort of at the top of their game when it comes to these pistols. So, hey, this is Jerry Nines, and I had a great time spending my time with this BH Spring Solution Advanced Girsan. If anybody out there has any firearms that they want to send me for a test so that I can make a video of it and give you the real world results and my thoughts, just go ahead and contact me. I'd be happy to do that. But you know what? I'm just happy to be doing this, talking about guns. And with that, I'm just going to say thanks so much for your continued viewership. Have a great day, and God bless America.